What's up, everybody? I'm Elixer Flow, and thank you for joining my channel. New album coming out called The Age of Enlightenment. It's an album about real life. There's 13 songs on there. A song called Go, that's about just how life is passing us by. Like, everybody's always on the go. We're constantly, just working for money, working for family, or doing stuff for others, trying to do stuff for ourselves, and we forget about living life, whether that be taking trips or, our mental health, taking care of that, or our financial well-being, or helping others in ways that provide fulfillment and gratitude. That song is definitely about making sure people are aware of not missing out on life as it's passing you by. I know I'm a victim of that. There's been years, decades that have gone by sometimes, and I'm just like, where did the time go, or what was I doing? And in some ways I wish I could get it back, but here we are. So there's it's definitely a focus on this album to make it, to bring you present to reality, to what's going on in the world right now, and to make it present to your daily life. I got another song on there called Conflict, and Conflict is a song about dealing with the angel and the devil, sort of, the good and the bad in life, and what that makes you do. Sometimes it could lead you to aborting a fetus prematurely. Like, maybe you didn't want to give up that baby, but you didn't feel ready to, or maybe you were in a situation that compromised yourself, that you felt like you had to, so, and then what that does to your mind, or just what overwhelming yourself with family does, just taking on the weight of the world on your shoulders. I am one of those people that's like, oh my God, I wish people would just get it. But, that's not always the case, and they don't get it how I'm gonna get it, we all have different ways of looking at things, so yeah, that's Conflict. It's a beautiful song. My cousin Mishi and my friend Impact both are singing on there. I also have a song on there called Dance With Me. Dance With Me is, to me, it's a beautiful song. It's about going after love, really, taking it, like making sure that the person you like or that you love know that you love them, your significant other, however they make you feel, however alive they make you, just, asking for that dance. I didn't go to my high school prom because I felt like, no one's gonna want to dance with me, so I didn't go. I was working on music that day, but Dance With Me is about taking that chance, taking the risk, making yourself vulnerable with love. I also got a song there called Tempting Fate. Tempting Fate is inspired by the suicide of Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. But it's also sort of a personal story, because I did struggle with suicide and suicidal thoughts, and I realized that was stupid of me, but it was also like my mental space. My mental health wasn't where it should have been, where I wanted it to be, or where it is now. Retrospectively, I can look back and say this, but at the time I was in it. I tried to cut myself and, try to harm myself, sabotaging my life, and that's not what I want. I want to live, I want to survive, I want to provide, I want to share my art with others, with you, but also be there for people and show them that I care. And I didn't have the words to express that before, but Tempting Fate definitely talks through all of that. I included some lines from what Chester was saying before his last days or during his last days, and interviews that I found and things that I've heard him say, and then my own thoughts, like how I went through life, and life is a precious thing. So you gotta cherish every moment. I also got a song in there called "I Can't Breathe." That song it's really about the police brutality that was going on, during COVID and forever. Really, like, there's so many people, so many minorities that lose their life or that get imprisoned unlawfully, unjustly, and I feel like the police brutality has got to stop. We need a conversation so we can come together and share our perspectives. What this is like for you, what this is like for me, and how can we find peace knowing that our circumstance is what has us be in certain ways or has us do certain things. We're all trying to survive and provide. So what that looks like for each individual could be different. This is the concrete jungle. There are no laws in the real jungle. I mean, there are some laws, but there's no police necessarily. But in the concrete jungle, there is, and sometimes it feels like they're an organized crime syndicate, just targeting people. And I could speak to that as a minority, but also my friends that are, white or Asian or whatever other nationality they may be, that maybe don't have the experience, or even some Hispanics don't have the experience of police brutality. It's a real thing, and we gotta find a way to get past it. So that song that I wrote, "I Can't Breathe," is my take on shedding light on what we're dealing with and trying to get past it. That's what it comes down to. I have a song on there called "This Is Our Chance." This song is precious to me. It's a straight a cappella song. I didn't want any music with it, so before people are like, hey, you don't have any music to this song, what are you doing? That's intentional. I wanted it to be a cappella. I'm singing on there. I'm not a great singer, but I felt like the words that I'm saying are clearly conveyed without music, just with my natural voice. You could hear the resonance, the pain, the despair, the love, the hope in my voice, I think. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment and let me know if that's what you feel. But This Is Our Chance is, it's a vulnerable song because I'm talking about, this is our chance to love each other, to support each other, to make it right, to all our wrongs, to make it right. I feel like that's what we need to do. So, that's a song that speaks to me, and maybe it'll speak to you too. Another song I have on there called "The World Is Watching." It's with my woman, my lady Red Luna. She's also singing on "Dance With Me" a little bit. She's Dominican, so she says some Spanish words on there. But "The World Is Watching," she's singing a bit, and me and her, it's like a duet. So I love that song. It just talks about how people are blinded by their cell phone and how technology is just taking over, taking us away from nature, taking us away from being present with each other one-on-one. Me and her were going to the movies one day, and we walked by this restaurant, and the whole restaurant, everybody, it was like 30 people in this restaurant, and I looked through the glass. It was a see-through glass, you could see everybody. I counted like 30 people, and there was a baby, but 30 adults. Probably like 28 of those adults and the baby. No, 28 of those adults were on a phone. Like they were on a date or they were sitting with family members or whatever, but they either were waiting on food or had food in front of them, or maybe they were getting ready to pay the check and leave. But everybody was just looking at their phone instead of looking at each other, talking to each other, just, things were happening around them. Restaurant servers were dropping food and, they were having side conversations and stuff like that. Nobody was paying attention. It felt like everybody was oblivious. Except for two people, a couple that was kind of like talking, but they were like in the middle of like looking at their phone, put it down, talk a couple seconds, look at their phones, kind of went back and forth like that. And the one baby that was in the restaurant was looking at everybody, like chewing on his fingers, like, what's going on, everybody? Like, no one was paying attention to the baby at all. So that was wild. That was wild to see. So that seeing that scenario happen in real time kind of inspired me to write that song, "The World Is Watching." Man, that was unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I also have a song on there called "State of Emergency." It's about Roe v. Wade being overturned and making abortion illegal in a number of states, and what that does to the psychology of people. Like I mentioned a little bit about conflict, there's some abortion talk in there, but this song is specifically about that and how Planned Parenthood and Medicaid all play a role. But the psychology of what that does to, say, a woman that forcefully gets impregnated, she doesn't have the choice, unless she goes to another state that doesn't have these same laws. It's just, I am pro-choice. I'm a believer that we are all able to make our own decisions. And, that's not saying that I believe in God, so that's not saying that God will want you to kill a baby that you had. But, at the same time, people do bad things to each other, and you should have the choice to make a decision on that if you want to, whether it's keeping the baby or not. But either way, people are mentally scarred, their mental health gets affected. If they do have the child grows up asking where its father is, or where did I come from, those type of questions in the future can get a little difficult, but I made that song just from the psyche of what could people be experiencing, and what could that mean. Making this album, it took me some years to make it, but making this album has me present to how much I care about what people in the world are going through and the things that the world throws at us as civilians. That's a big deal. So, I'm conscious of that, and I try to bring that consciousness through my music to whoever listens to it. I do have a fun song called "Ride" on there. Even still, there's context with it. That song is really about having fun, but being intentional about that fun. Like, you want to get that car that you've been chasing, go get that car. You worked hard for it, you earned it, go get it. Take what's yours, take what you worked for, and don't be bashful, don't be shy about that. Like, obviously don't be boastful in certain areas, but celebrate yourself. Ride is about celebrating yourself, and just having fun with it. Consider your birthday. Like, I'm big on birthdays. I know some people are not, but I'm big on birthdays because I view it as a celebration of life. This is the day you came into the world. Oh my gosh, like, I love you for being here. So if I would have taken my own advice when I was young, I wouldn't have been depressed every day on my birthday, but that's neither here nor there. I celebrate my birthday because I love myself now, and I want to love and celebrate everybody's existence, because think about how many sperm it took to create you. You're a unique being. So Ride is about that self-celebration. Another song on there that's a good vibe is "Give Me Your Love." I made that song with my cousin Mishi, and but it's really kind of like a couple. Like, imagine listening to it, that you're hearing a couple sing to each other. It's like a duet, but it's just about being present with your partner and vulnerable, and be willing to express and share and live in the love and the joy that you both partake in. So that's "Give Me Your Love." I love the track. My friend Impact made the track, and it just has a nice little bop to it, a pop vibe, but it's resounding in its vulnerability and its love. I think the message is conveyed from person to person So that's a song that you can sing to your loved one if you want, just to bring you guys closer together. I have another song there called Show Me the Light. That's just showing lyrical prowess. I am a rapper, but I like to say that I'm not a rapper, I'm a recording artist. So recording is my art. And that could mean a little bit of singing, a little bit of rapping, a little bit of voiceover. It could be different tonalities, pitches, and try to do different things with my voice. I'm not the best, but I try to convey that, and I think some of it's really good. But to the listener be the judge. So, but yeah, Show Me the Light is just showing some lyrical ability and just me talking about doubters, haters in the past that have kind of said you can't do this. Meanwhile, they're vibing to my music in secret. I've been told that, I've seen that when they weren't realizing that I was looking, and it just is what it is. I try to celebrate everybody. If you're creative, I try to celebrate you, support you the best way that I can, as much as I can. But I got that fire. They call me Sleeping Dragon for a reason. I got that fire in me too. So, that's Show Me the Light. I have a song there highlighting Claude McKay, Renaissance Black poet. Came up with wonderful poems talking about revolution and human evolution, like If We Must Die. There's so many good literary works that he's done, and in a way I feel like I'm a new age rap version of him. So I actually wrote that song, I wrote it as a poem to start, and I submitted it into a Black History Month poetry contest when I was younger, in middle school, and it didn't win, but it did get placed. But a friend back then told me you should turn that into a song, so Carlos turned it into a song. But I think it's great. It's deep. It gives a lot of information about what his life was like, what Claude McKay's life was like, but also like I said, I feel like I share a lot of similarities with him. So just in how I make music and how he did his poetry. So there's a synonymous aspect there. I think the track is beautiful. So it's made by Cinema Beats, and couldn't thank him enough for that track. Last song on the album is called Good Life. It's also featuring my cousin Mishi, and that song is it's kind of like Go, but in a different way. That song is talking about how fast life is going, passing us by, but really being intentional and present to the moment. Whereas Go is like, I'm just going and all this stuff is happening, but I don't care. I'm just out to get the money. I'm out to do what I gotta do. Good life is like, I'm realizing all this stuff is passing me by, but I'm gonna take a step back and enjoy every second. And that's what I think we should all do. Just take a step back and enjoy every second, because nothing's promised, and we're all here for the time we are. But we got to make the most of it. And if anything, I would say that is the message of the whole album, is make the most of the time that you have, but also be present to what's going on, because there's a lot happening that we know and that we don't know. So that's my spiel about the album, Age of Enlightenment. Check it out. It's by me, Elixer Flow. I have some tracks on there, like I said, by Cinema Beats, my friend Impact, Jay Hostile, who's a great producer. He's produced so much music for me. I'm eternally grateful to him. So definitely support him. But he's produced a lot of tracks on here, and such as State of Emergency, Go, Good Life, Show Me the Light, Ride. I mean, there's so many, and even on my previous projects, definitely go check out my other previous projects too, like Fuel the Fire, You know, something dope. So a group of us dudes came together. Jay produced that whole album. You know, Rebel Music. It's my first like full-length album. You know, there's a lot of songs on there that I really appreciate. That album helped me open up for Tech Nine. That was a surreal experience. So if you're a Tech Nine fan out there, I opened up for him. He's cool, he's amazing, and I have a video of my performance with my friends on there on the YouTube channel, so definitely check it out. My first EP, In the Light, you know, made all the tracks and wrote all the songs with no paper, just freestyled everything, but it's interesting. It's definitely cool. But I just like to share art, so thank you for listening, checking me out, and you know, I hope you enjoy the album, Age of Enlightenment. It's coming out August 8th, or it's out now, depending on when you're listening to this. So, peace and love, everybody. It means the world to me that you're here and I get to be here with you. And I hope you enjoy my music. It's my art that I love sharing. It's a piece of me that you will forever have. So thank you, and see you next time.